Hi everybody, Dina here, littlewidow.com, the Little Widow on Twitter, which I don't understand, really. I don't know how to use it. If anybody has any guidance, really, I could use some. Like it works, but I don't really get Twitter. Like I get it, but I don't get it. So, you know, if anyone can illuminate me, I would love to have that conversation. Littlest Widow on Instagram, regardless. All right, let's just pretend that I don't have a sweatshirt on again. Just picture me in an evening gown. I would like that better. All right, so tonight we are going to ask a question for someone who is at a real crossroads, I think kind of more or less in her relationship. So she's had this on and off again. Well, this jumped out. Oh, damn. You know how I feel about jumpers, right? You got to pay attention to jumpers. I put them back in the deck. I don't just ignore them for sure, but I also don't make them a pivotal card. I reshuffle them. Our jumper was the stinking 10 of swords. Oh my goodness, of all the cards to have as our jumper. Look at that poor bastard. He has 10 swords in his back. Jesus Christ. The 10 of swords is a real difficult card. Let's see where the rest of the reading goes, and I hate the 10 of swords. Everybody hates the 10 of swords. All right, let's just talk about the 10 of swords, okay? I mean, there's no way to not talk about the 10 of swords now that it came out. It's arguably one of the, I like to say there's no bad and good cards. Everyone likes to say that. It's arguably one of the worst cards in the deck. The 10 of swords tends to mean this is over. Sometimes it can signify that there's no communication or that communication is completely broken down, because swords are communication and they're kind of almost beyond the end of the suit. You know, they're just the second before it restarts in the ace as something else. But the 10 of swords to me signifies more of an ending than like death. If I get death in a relationship, I don't say, oh, this is stinking over. I say, you know, it might be over, but it is, you know, maybe you'll get married. Maybe it'll completely transform. The 10 of swords, I tend to think of as being over. That said, being it wasn't in any particular position, it could also just be saying that their communication has completely broken down. So it's not to say that it can't restart. It is a negative. It's a fairly negative card, though. It's one of my least favorite cards. So that guy has all those 10 swords in his back. Way too many swords. We could have killed him with one sword. Why do we have all those swords? So that is part of it. There's some kind of like melodrama there. Like it's a little bit of overkill. Swords are mental. So it is, you know, it can be worry, it can be obsession, it can be like, this was over a long time ago, and we just keep putting swords in this person. So, you know, and I'm guilty of that. I will put so many swords in a dead horse that you wouldn't even know it was a horse anymore by the time I'm done with it. So let's just keep in mind that jumped out. Frick. All right, anywho. So this is for someone whose communication has broken down currently. She's been in a very long-term, but on and off again relationship with someone. I do believe she loves him, and I'm sure he must love her. I mean, it's been 8.5 years on and off. They do not live together. I believe they did for a while. You know, her kind of questioning was like, is he ever gonna grow up? Is he ever gonna take responsibility? She's a very responsible person, and he, you know, I think is not for the most part, and that's really her sticking point. But really we want to see what's going to happen between them. Is this something that can be salvaged where he's going to be able to show up and be the partner that she needs, or is this the cards are done, or is this just going to go on like this, you know, until somebody calls it? Because 8.5 years is a long time to be in a, you know, I mean, not be married, not have kids, nothing, 8.5 years. So, you know, not that everything has to end that way. Certainly it doesn't, but I'm just saying, you know, but I mean, I don't think that either of them are the kind of people who, you know, feel like they need that kind of freedom with like separate lives and separate everything. So that is what we're asking about today. The Hierophant is our first card, and we are using the Delos Tarot today, which you know I love. It is very retro and a little hippie, like the person. Okay, so it's in these. The Hierophant is the card representing them, I would say, and the relationship. It is an established long-term relationship, so I'm not surprised to see the Hierophant here. He's kind of the order. He is what is pre-existing. He can be habit, actually, too. It's in the environment of the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is a weird card. A lot of times you can look at it and you can say, well, it's the 10. It's the culmination of the suit. It's emotional fulfillment. These people are happy. They have a family. Everything is lovely. I think it does represent that there is love there, but sometimes any 10 is telling you that it's over. I should take my own advice. I hear myself talking and I do readings about someone that I'm smitten with and I get 10s and I'm like, but sometimes 10s can mean it's over. Oh my goodness, it's another 10. 10 of Pentacles, that's what's crossing us. That is the 10, that's the 10s, oh God. Pentacles are physical stuff, you know, practical concerns. Another 10. The foundation of the matter is the 8 of Cups. I don't know if we've talked about this card yet. The 8 of Cups is a card of moving on, very much so. So I think maybe the fact that this is coming out in the kind of the foundation position tells me that maybe one of them has kind of moved on some level and just doesn't want to admit it. It's not a traumatic card. He stacked his little cups neatly and is moving away from them, but it's definitely not the, you know, none of these are what we want so far. Behind us is the Magician. That's a card of kind of like making positive change in your life and manifesting your own destiny. That's an influence that's leaving us. The crowning card is the 3 of Pentacles. Maybe probably speaking to working on things. Before us is the 7 of Cups. We get the 7 of Cups in our near future position quite often in these readings. That is the card of fantasy and confusion. I always say that. What's in this cup? What's in that cup? Right? It's a card about not knowing what you want. It can indicate alcohol too. It can indicate really like a drinking problem or alcoholism, or that we're drinking buddies. It can indicate all of those things. But a lot of the time, what it really indicates is some kind of emotional confusion where we're not able to really see what's coming clearly, you know, and we don't know what we want. So that's a difficult card. The Hangman also represents them, which totally makes sense and pairs back to the Hierophant. They're stuck. They don't know what they want. They're putting off making a decision, right? Oh my goodness, and here's the 10 of Swords again. They're not talking. That makes me think, or they're, you know, barely talking after a fight that they had. That makes me think that is why that popped out in the first place. Queen of Cups. And our outcome is, oh, well, this is actually a lovely card. Not all bad. The outcome is the 9 of Cups. So we talk about 9s a lot. We got this card before. This is that fancy little cat, right? We actually got this in a reading for the same person before, I believe. He has lots of cups, and he's very happy with his cups. He is by himself, though. The 9s all refer back to the Hermit. So in love readings, 9s are difficult. 9s can show us fulfillment. It's the wish card. Oh my God, I got everything I wanted. That's the 9 of Cups. The first question you have to ask when the 7 of Cups is coming up right before the 9 of Cups as your 2 outcomes is, do you know what you want? You're getting everything you want. Do you know what that is? Yeah. The second thing is, you know, I always refer back to the traditional cards, and it's one smug little fat dude by himself. All the 9s do refer back to the Hermit. It's a person enjoying the fruits of their labor by themselves for the most part. However, this is a really positive card. To me, this means, I mean, all these other cards could signify endings, and they can signify confusion, and it's quite possible that what all these negative cards that we have that are in the immediate environment are saying, like, we're reaching critical mass here. Like, this is being pushed to as far as it can go, and there's going to be a period of confusion, and then we're either this either has to end or it needs to be something completely different, because we both have to have what we want here. I'm going to actually read this card as positive. I think they're in a crisis point and they both need to figure out what they want. And I think that from what I'm seeing here, if what they want is each other, that this can work. But if what they want is not each other, this card is saying that the split is not going to be traumatic and they will both be happy anyway. But it all really hinges on, it hinges on the Seven of Cups here, with separating the fantasy from reality and what you want, and honestly maybe getting a little bit like sober about what you're looking at, and Hangman, taking the time, looking at things from a new perspective. He's in tree pose upside down. It's a card of meditation, but it's also a card of contemplation and being stuck. I mean, he is tied there. He can't get down really. I mean, his hands are free, so he could get down. He's gonna hang out there for a while and figure things out. So I think that's where we are with this. It's gonna take a while. It's not gonna be immediate, and you need to figure out what you want. The ending is happy. And if what you want is to be together, it's gonna work. But if what you want is to be apart, you're not gonna miss each other. I mean, you're gonna be happy apart. I do tend to think of the Nine of Cups as you get your wish. So what's your wish? What do you want? All right. It was a little ambiguous, huh? But I think it was good. I think it's a positive reading. I feel good about it. I think it's just a matter of clarifying what you want. And if you guys want each other, the cards say that it can work. That said, I don't see any responsibility cards happening here. So if that's a deal breaker, maybe that's not what you want. All right, well, that's what we got tonight. You can tweet me or email me. My email link is on the website, and one night I will do your reading. Hopefully it will be less ambiguous than this. All right, good night. Thank you.